attendance there. He's been in attendance with Coaches versus Cancer for a really, really long time. Head coach of the Gonzaga Bulldogs, Mark Few, joining us here. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. Great. Enjoying the summer a little bit, finally.
I was going to say, a little bit of downtime. How's the fishing going?
I haven't seen a whole lot of that.
Why not?
Yeah, a lot of recruiting and camp, and then 4 kids. So still hoping. There's still hope.
You guys, you've been part of Coach. You and Marcy have been part of Coaches versus Cancer for a really long time. You guys have raised just so much money and done a lot of great things. And things are changing up a little bit this year. Going with the night with Jim Gaffigan.
Yep.
Are you excited about that? Do you like a little stand-up comedy?
We're actually really excited about it. I don't know if you've heard him.
Oh yeah.
He's really good. I'm not a guy who spends a lot of time on the comedy network or channel or anything, but my kids got me into listening to him, and he is hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to it. In fact, we're going to take them to it. Well,
that's the thing is you can, because he's not a guy who's going to drop a lot of bombs.
No, he's not. I think that's pretty cool in this day and age, that you can still be a highly entertaining comedian without having to be profane. So he's good, and you know, we just thought we'd mix it up a little bit. This is our 11th year, and it's been unbelievably way far exceeded our wildest dreams as far as the amount of money and the amount of people that we've been able to meet and touch, and the event's been a lot of fun, but we kind of wanted to open it up to more everybody, the general public, so we decided to kind of do this, and hopefully we can fill up the Fox Theater and have another great night.
It's not just the event, but it's the people that go to the event. You guys get a lot of big-time names that come to the event, a lot of big coaches, ESPN and broadcasting celebrities, things like that. Pretty rowdy group, pretty fun group. Is there some guy?
Yeah. It's a good night in Spokane. I can tell you, it's right up there with not quite an NCAA tournament win or something like that, but it's a pretty darn good night in Spokane.
Who are some of the guys that you look forward to the most coming back because you get to hang out with them and just talk whatever it is that you guys talk about?
Well, I mean, we've had some great coaches come in over the years, and it's kind of, I think back I became real good friends with like a Rick Barnes and a Gary Williams, and Mike Montgomery's been up, and then I don't know if I look forward to it, but the ESPN personalities kind of take this time and evening to basically do a roast of me every year. So, and they're pretty good.
Who's the roughest one on you?
Billis, by far. It's not even close.
I got his name written down right here.
Oh, my goodness. It's just brutal.
It's that Duke education.
But, I mean, I actually enjoy it. I have so many people. My mom, my dad, my mother-in-law gets offended and ready to fight. And I'm like, it's fine. It's good. It's all good.
It's a little bit different when it's all for charity than if we have you on the show and we just make fun of you. That's not going to result in you coming on the show very often, right?
You know what, guys? I don't know. Maybe when you're year one as a head coach or something, you care about stuff like that. By the time you've been in as long as I have, I'm good with anything. If people can pretty much say whatever they want, and in this case, it's pretty darn entertaining, and it's for a great cause. And if I have to be the brunt of every joke, I'm more than I can assume that role for an evening.
Well, as Keith pointed out, that you and Marcy started this way back in 2002, and you've raised so much money. And
we've raised almost $5.5 million.
Yeah, $5.4 million. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And today and this year, you want to top the $1 million mark in funds raised for Camp Good Times. Talk about that charity.
We were just out there last week. And it is basically it's a 1-week camp out there at Ross Point, right on the Spokane River. Beautiful spot. Mm-hmm. And it's just for, any kid who has cancer, that's going through any kind of cancer treatment, from, very mild to very, very serious. And it's just a week of having fun and screwing around and going to camp and having a good time and kind of forgetting about whatever their plight is. And, myself and the team, we go out there every year and just it's a blast. We get to meet a lot of people and fish off the dock and play on the water things out there in the river, and kind of go around and see what they do all day, and just kind of hang out with them. And I know my guys have as much fun as the kids have, and it's just a really cool deal. We've been able to. We do a paddle raise every year. It'll bring a tear to your eye every year at the event, and people in Spokane have just been amazing with how they support it. I mean, we've been able to scholarship everybody at the camp now the last couple of years, and
nice.
We're trying to. Hopefully we can get over the 1 million mark total this coming year. To continue to kind of make it so any kid who wants to go to that camp can go to that camp and doesn't have to pay for it.
Well, it's some of the best video I've seen with regard to Gonzaga basketball players. It's away from the dunks and everything. Is video of guys like Rob Sacre out there playing with the kids. Them throwing them into the water or whatever. Tell me what that means to you to have your players in touch with these kids as something that they do as a team away from the basketball floor.
No, that's a great call, Rick. I love it as much as anybody when we win games and play great. But probably some of my fondest memories have been watching my guys interact with kids, that have cancer or are very, very sick, or just are in need of just hanging with your guys and getting picked up a little bit. And certainly, to watch our guys interact. I told this story before. There's so many times people have talked about Rob and how outrageous he is and how crazy he is. I can tell you this. I've been with Rob Sacre in 3 or 4 instances where, death was imminent with a particular person they wanted to meet, me and a player. He is unbelievable. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. When you have children and you see these kids that have this, your heart just, it bleeds, and Rob rolls right in there, and I tell you, for the 30 minutes or the hour, he's got the kid laughing. He's playing video games. We've watched Star Wars. We've compared. I've seen him with a 50-year-old comparing tattoos.
Yeah.
Not to go too far on the subject, but that is what I remember about my guys, is how they're willing to serve, they're willing to help, and they love doing it. You don't even have to ask, and they just have an amazing ability for that 30 minutes or hour that day to, pick up the spirits of somebody that needs their spirit picked up.
Is that kind of attitude something you look for when you recruit somebody, Mark?
Well, in a perfect world, Vince,
sure.
you would. But, we're at a pretty high level. You got to, I wish everybody had that. And I've been blessed enough here at Gonzaga that for one reason or another we kind of attract that and have been very lucky. But, you got to be honest. Talent is what you got to have a certain amount of talent to play at this level to keep us on the national level. And that's very important. And I think once we get a guy here, and we can get him in this community, and we can get him around the people on our team and the people at Gonzaga, and they can feel that that there is a part of your life that needs to be service, and there is a part that you got to give back. I think we've changed some people since they've been here.
It's probably more about the program putting that into the player rather than the player putting that into the program.
I think so, and I hope so, and I think at the end of their journey here, I think you see a profound change where they do enjoy doing it, and they want to do it, and they do a great job with it.
Well, speaking of some of those players that you get into this program, we couldn't have you on the show and ask you how your guys are looking. I know you're just a couple months away from really getting things going. The schedule looks fun. You got a heck of a team coming.
That's an interesting
fun for us as fans.
Let's, as long as we're hitting that, let me.
That would be like a media description of it.
This is what I was going to ask. I mean, let's get this out of the way right now because I wanted to ask this. And I mean, you guys kind of made your bones on scheduling the tough opponents and then beating them. And then making a name and then building on that and building on that and building on that. Right. So I look at this year's schedule, Mark, and I see West Virginia, I see Clemson, I see Illinois, I see Kansas State, I see Baylor.
Butler.
And of course Butler.
Yeah.
But the question is, I mean, at some point, Mark, and I think you've already passed that point by a few years, you've kind of arrived. So is there any talk about maybe doing what some other big time programs are doing and schedule a few more patsies early in the year?
I need to bring you in on our scheduling meetings because at times that's the platform that I try to stand on, and it's almost like you feel like Clint Eastwood in one of those gunslinger movies. You've been doing it so long, and you kind of want to we don't have to keep getting in these gunfights all the time. Can't we just? I think we've proven ourselves. But so much of what we do now is driven by ESPN and TV, and they've been great to us. I mean, they have really, really helped, build this into a national brand and a national caliber team. And so, when they come to you and say, hey, we need you to do this on ESPN Marathon, night, or, playing Orlando, obviously Orlando and Maui, those are big-time tournaments. You want to be involved in those. And I think there's still a handful of us out there that like playing big-time games and enjoy competing at the highest level, and I think we're comfortable with where we are with our contracts and where we are with everything. So, I mean, I say this every year. I don't think it's hurt us yet. I mean, there was one year where I think we got on a 3 or 4 game losing streak with all the road games and playing UConn and some other people, and I was really worried about us, but we ended up rallying and I think going to a Sweet 16 that year. So, that year or day that it hurts us, and we'll probably have to back off a little bit. But so far, it seems like it's always helped Michigan State, and I think it's kind of always helped us to kind of get ready and perform in March.
Mark, this year the NCAA changed some rules, and you guys had a chance to work with your players more during the summer. Have you seen something different out of that already? Well, you know what,
Vince, I think that's going to be interesting because we always want more. We need more, in this. And I'm kind of a guy that's like, hey, I want to make sure we're good in March, and I'm not always convinced too much or more of something is always what's best. So, I mean, we haven't went crazy with that, We've kind of been able to work our guys out, kind of try to instill in them what we want them doing individual work-wise and things like that. And, we haven't been holding, like, really hard, full practices like I know a lot of people have been. And so it's going to be interesting to see what that effect is, The thing that I felt happened in the last couple years is, October 15th used to be such a big day, man. It was you were just peaking for it. You were ready. You were waiting for it. Everybody was ready for it. Your players were just chomping at the bit. Now it's like, here we go again. Another 2 hours. We just did one on Thursday. So, I mean, I think you got to watch out for that. There's a little bit of the mental fatigue. Haven't gone through the USA basketball stuff, early in the summer, and then watching the guys yesterday. I mean, it's amazing how those guys are going to be when they're going to get amped up here in about another month or so, and that, LeBron has not had a break.
Yeah.
I mean, he has not had a break. I mean, he has just been performing under pressure at the highest of all levels, and it's like, it'll be interesting to see how that impacts him in, April,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, luckily everybody gets in the NBA playoffs, so he'll be okay. They can slough through the regular season. Mark, we always appreciate you coming on the show, and truly thank you for everything you and Marcy do for our community with Coaches versus Cancer. And we look forward to the event with Jim Gaffigan coming up here on August 25th. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for coming on the show, and have fun with your buddies when they come in town to pretty much make fun of you.
I will. All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, Mark.
Have a good one.
That's head coach Mark Few, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, getting ready to, man, they're going to be close to, what, $6 million that they're going to have raised for Coaches versus
Yeah, I would
Cancer
think so.
by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's $6 million. And again, bravo to Spokane, because for everything Mark and Marcy Few do, it takes the people giving the money to make it happen. And so the people of Spokane really getting behind this thing and making it one of the biggest in the country.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about this. Roni Turioff came in last year and held a fundraiser to raise money to put in defibrillators in the schools and stuff, and work with Sacred Heart on heart stuff. And Spokane turned out for that too. You know, there is an open heart and an open wallet oftentimes in this town for a lot of